Back and forth it is. Lots to talk about and discuss today. Jalen Hurts being pretty much in concussion protocol for 3 weeks, knocking off rust, and probably won't get his first practice until the first week of the playoffs. Okay. And we're going to be talking Pro Bowlers, and we're going to be talking about a specific player that needs to be re-signed. And he came out and said it that he wants to be re-signed by the Eagles, and we need to talk about it. So let's get straight into it.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. If you haven't checked out BetUS, this video is sponsored by BetUS, so definitely go check them out. We have a lot to discuss today, okay? I think the number one thing to discuss is really Jalen Hurts, okay? First, we were all the Saquon stuff going on, and there are fans that, that want him to rest. There are fans that want him to go for this record, and it seems like whether it's Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman, or Nick, they're just not letting it happen right now, okay? So I'm pretty much over it at some case. But with Jalen Hurts now being off for pretty much 3 weeks, or really, hasn't played in 3 weeks, in concussion protocol, will not play Sunday. I was hoping that he was going to get back on Wednesday, but that didn't happen. So if he wasn't coming back on Wednesday, or he was out of protocol on Wednesday, he was definitely not playing in this game. Okay. If this was like a week he was out, I would be okay. If this was 2 weeks, I'd be okay with it. If this is like 3 weeks, it sucks. And it's out of his control. It's not his fault. Look, these things happen in games. There's 5 phases to concussion protocol. I don't know what phase he's on. Hopefully he's on like 5 right now, and he's finishing off the next few days. And then starts. I mean, he's not going to start his first practice until playoff week. And it makes me a little nervous. Okay, I think that's fair to say, dude. Guys off for 3 weeks, and because of concussion protocol, and you got to worry: is there going to be rust? I would think there's going to be. Okay, I would think that there is going to be somewhat rust. You're hoping that you get into a playoff game, whether it's against the Commanders or the Green Bay Packers, and there's no miscommunication, there's no slow start, there's no playing from behind. Like, I want to see these fast starts. I want to see this offense go above and beyond. Okay. You know what I mean? So it does question things. In the past with the Philadelphia Eagles, we used to be like really nervous of the Eagles coming off a bye week and looking slow, and that has happened in the past. But this is different, though. This is one player that's the most important player to your offense. Like I said, it's no shade towards Jalen Hurts. This is just a natural thing that happens in games. Guys get concussions. It's part of the game, and unfortunately, his was really bad. Putting a thumbs up to the referee, you would have thought he was okay, but I guess he tried to force himself to play in that game against the Commanders. Couldn't force himself to play, so. It just sucks that it's happening now, because you get into a playoff game, that's it. It's a one and done game. You're not in the regular season anymore. Like, this is it. Like, if Hurts is struggling because he's just knocking off rust, they got to run the football. They have to do other things, obviously. They have to make quick adjustments in game. They cannot leave things the way they are. Okay. You have a 2,000-yard back. You have weapons all over the place. Throw short. If the defense is playing off, dump it. Things like that. Don't make things make things more simple for Jalen Hurts, like that Pittsburgh game, that passing game, you could do that. You could do the run game. You could do screen game. Make sure you have some crossers. Make sure you have a safety blanket on the flat, something like that, not to put Jalen Hurts, if he's rusty in this first playoff game, in this situation. Okay. So that's really where I'm at with Jalen Hurts, because it's just way too much time. And like I said, he can't force himself to come back, so it's no blame towards him. It's just, this is the situation we're in when it comes to concussions. And obviously this was a pretty bad concussion. Okay. So I don't want to make a big deal about it, but I'm going to, because finally, you clinched a playoff berth a few weeks ago. And now when you need to really practice and get this team going, your starting quarterback hasn't played. So his first practice will be like the start of the week for the playoffs. Well, I don't know what day we're playing it. We'll find out after Sunday. But I look, if they're ready, they're ready. I think they will be ready. I don't see why he should look, a little off. Maybe in the beginning, I could deal with it, I guess, but I just don't want it. I just don't want us to shoot ourselves in the foot. And because of this happening and not getting the reps because of the concussion protocol, like I said, just something we have to deal with. But we'll see down the line. And hopefully he's at the game on Sunday. At least we'll see him because we didn't see him. We didn't see him at the last week's game. So we'll see what's going on. I heard he couldn't really be with his teammates during concussion protocol for last week. I don't know. That's what I pretty much heard. So that's the news on Jalen Hurts. What I think about it, let me know what you guys think. Now, 6 Pro Bowlers for the Philadelphia Eagles. Finally, okay. I'm not. Look, when it comes to the NFL Top 100, I could care less. It's a dog and pony show. It's like, to me, it's like stupid at this point. I'm not a fan of the top 100. What I'm a fan of is Pro Bowlers. Obviously, the Eagles have 6 that are on there right now. Saquon Barkley, obviously. You have Zack Baun, well deserved. Jalen Carter, well deserved. Landon Dickerson, awesome. Lane Johnson, of course. And Cam Jurgy, man. Cam Jurgy's on there, which is great, which is fantastic. And I think what we really have to talk about here, which really makes sense. I mean, talk about Jalen Carter, um, you know, last year showing a lot of flash. We know that Jalen Carter's good. His motor is just so much better this year. He's just, I mean, you love his on-field antics and getting under players' skin and the way he could just troll teams. And I like how he fights back, and it's just absolutely amazing. Just how disruptive he is. But man, this guy can go 100% just crazy mode for a full 4 quarters and doesn't stop. And let me tell you, man, he's going to be a hell of a player. Howie Roseman's going to be opening that wallet as far as possible because this man will be the highest paid DT when the time comes. I bet, and then you go to Cam Jurgens. Okay, look, I mean, you replaced Fletcher Cox and you replaced Jason Kelsey. Is Cam Jurgens Jason Kelsey? Definitely not, but damn, he's playing really good. And he won't be far till he gets there. Okay, he's not far from getting there at all. For him to get into the Pro Bowl is huge. This was a hand-picked pick by Howie Roseman and Jason Kelsey, and Kelsey being by his side for a year or whatever it was, that really did help. And obviously, like I said, Jeff Stoutland just being the coach that he is, I mean, look what he's turned. I mean, he's turned a rugby player into a Pro Bowl. I mean, it's crazy now what he's done with Jordan Mailata and some of these other guys that are here, just getting guys better, and obviously the run game coordinator as well. So he's done really good between the offensive line to the run game. How our run game is so great this year, but Cam Jurgens, man, is definitely heading for greatness, man, and obviously a lot of support around him. And these two, replacing those 2 players in Kelsey and Cox, the Eagles did it. The Eagles have done it, and these 2 guys definitely deserve it going forward, no doubt. So then we have Zack Baun, okay. Zack Baun, over 100. I don't know. From last stats, it was like 100, over 150 tackles, probably a little bit more than that. I think 4 or 5 forced fumbles, a pick for I mean, the number one linebacker right now. Okay, and Nakobe Dean isn't far off either because he's had a really good year. Okay, especially when he came back healthy and then really just worked on himself. Look how he's playing. Even not seeing Nakobe Dean on the field last week was really a big difference. But Zack Baun, man, I mean, this is the protege of Vic Fangio. This was a guy that, in Howie Roseman's eyes, since Fangio said this, that Zack Baun, 1-year deal, $1.6 million, he was supposed to be a backup outside linebacker / special teams demon, quote unquote, okay? And Fangio was like, nah, he is an inside linebacker, okay? And, it's great because Nakobe Dean's the green dot, and most likely if he's out of the game or something happens, I think Zack Baun can handle it. This was a guy that was a edge rusher transformed into an outside linebacker role player for the Saints for 4 years. His statistics are in 1 year are just absolutely insane with a new team and what Fangio has turned Zack Baun into. The Eagles have an opportunity here to not mess this up and re-sign Zack Baun. Zack Baun had a press conference in front of his locker room and pretty much says he loves the organization, the guys in the locker room. He hopes that he can remain a Philadelphia Eagle. Go for the bag, bro, because you know what? Like, He ain't taking no pay cut. He ain't being, staying here for cheaper. This guy is never, and because he made the Pro Bowl, he actually made an extra 500,000, which was great. So happy for him. He deserves all the money in the world. I don't know how much it's going to cost after 1 year. This isn't like off a 4-year contract where he was like amazing. Otherwise, we'd be in more trouble. This could be an 18 to 20 million a year type contract, maybe. Potentially it could be. So if you let Zach Baun walk and how he's like, oh, just, I trust Fangio and his instincts on finding another guy like Zach Baun and bringing him in on a 1-year deal and turning him into that. It's not going to happen all the time like that. Fangio is good at doing that. He's done a fantastic job as a first-year defensive coordinator with the Eagles. If you let Zach, this would probably be one of the moves, okay, where if this happens, if they let him walk, I will be pissed. Like, you're just hitting the reset button. As much as everybody wants to see Trotter Jr., okay, Trotter Jr. was a late round pick. Trotter Jr. hasn't played enough this season for any promise that he's going to turn into Zach Baun or another type of linebacker or whatever he is in his own self, okay? Because Nakobe Dean has played well. Like if they just let's let Zach Baun walk and just have Nakobe, Nakobe Dean's already a good player, but Zach Baun is our best linebacker right now. Okay, we thought losing TJ Edwards was a big deal. He's good. He was solid, but he's not that good. And let me tell you, what Fangio did with Van Ginkel in his 4th year as a Miami Dolphin with 53 pressures and 6 sacks. I mean, he had a fantastic year. Van Ginkel was a nobody for 3 years until Fangio became the defensive coordinator for Miami Dolphins and literally just had a spectacular year and signed a pretty big contract with the Vikings. Okay. Same thing with, it's almost the same thing as that, but Zach Baun is better than everybody in the league. Now, looking back now, holy shit, Fangio has a sense of the talent he wants in this defense and couldn't be any happier about it. And every week that goes by, he's getting more expensive. And I really hope that they work something out here. I really hope that this is going to be on their mind. Our free agency, guys, is not much is going to happen. Whether they go after an edge rusher in free agency, that's like the only thing, or a tight end, I don't know. Whatever's going to happen. Our free agency in March is going to be re-signs, whether it's Isaiah Rodgers, it's Sweat, Milton Williams, Zach Baun. I mean, I don't know what else is going to happen here. So we'll see how it goes. And this is an opportunity you can't miss. If you're not drafting linebackers early, I mean, you got to do this. He's 26, 27 years old now. I mean, a 3-4 year deal. He could, the way he's playing, he could play well into his 30s. So we'll see what happens with this. But Zach Baun has been absolutely amazing. Those are your players. Obviously, the other ones are obviously, those are the guys that they're going to make it. I know that Cooper DeJean was a 4th option, fourth alternate option in the Pro Bowl. Quinyon Mitchell was snubbed as a 1st alternate, which really sucks. I thought he was totally snubbed. A.J. Brown was a 1st alternate as well, which was kind of weird. He missed some games this year, but still had a 3rd year over 1,000-yard season. So, I thought that was, kind of but it is what it is. But congratulations on those guys, and hopefully Howie does the right thing at the end of the season. Let me know what you guys think about the Jalen Hurts situation, what's going on with that, and just give me your opinion on it. And other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. It does help the channel out tremendously. And definitely like the video as well. So you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys on the next one. Shakes what up, follow side. Peace out, guys. Peace.